Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's my privilege to speak to us today. That is because I feel I just clocked 50 years yesterday, being 19th April. And as a matter of fact, I consider myself as one of the elders in faith because I have undergo spiritual training in quote pastoral training and exercise pastoral activities for many years. And for that reason, I consider myself as good enough to talk to people based on my experiences. And after all the up and downs of life, being led by the Holy Spirit, taught by the Holy Spirit, I was able to compare and contrast, however you may see it, between the truth and the gimmicks of ministry. First of all, I like to say that I have been in ministry since 1999, full time practicing as a minister. And that wasn't when I gave my life to Christ. I gave my life to Christ some many years ago, 1987. I was a very young boy when a young guy came to my place then in Otukpo town. They called him Jackson 5, a young boy who came to preach the gospel. And I'll be calling names for reference purposes. I used to have a childhood friend then when we went for the crusade, and after the crusade, we got baptized with the Holy Ghost with the evidence of speaking in tongues. You understand? And we're burning for Christ, full of ignorance. And we came to our local church, our mother's church, the name CEFN, Christian Evangelical Fellowship of Nigeria, in Otukpo. And one of the day, myself and my friend, we were speaking in tongues during prayers. And the elders of the church came up and said that we have come in with an evil spirit. And they excommunicated us out of the church for speaking in tongues. My dad and my mom were suspended from taking the communion. I'm talking about nobody else but Pastor Innocent Unogu, who is still alive and he can attest to this. 1987. And after that adolescent stage of stuff, during our secondary school life, we were no longer consistent as we used to be, as in burning for God. As at 1989 and 1990, I came across a young man called Apostle Goshit Oropo, who was schooling in GSS Otukpo. I was in St. Paul Secondary School. And each time he goes around with his guitar, playing the guitar, I always feel like associating myself with him. He was a popular name, a figure in that town. And then I fell in love with him, and the only thing I could do that time so that I can become a friend with him to start learning how to play the acoustic guitar was to change my school from St. Paul's to GSS. And so I got admitted into GSS. And then I tried to relate with him. In one of the break time, I called him and I said to him, Goshi, my mom sells food at the restaurant, just like a restaurant in Otukpo Main Market. And I like the way you play the guitar, and I would like to learn from you. And he said, no problem. So I said, it's not going to end that way that you teach me how to play. But my mom runs a restaurant, so if you come to my mom's restaurant, I'm going to give you free food. You eat any plate of food you want to eat, akpu, gari, or pounded yam, for free, so long as you're going to play that day. Let my mom listen to how you sing and play. And we seal the deal. My friend Goshid Urokbo, Dr. Goshid Urokbo, is still alive today. Great man of God, doing great exploit in Uganda. He has traveled to US, many countries in the world, preaching the gospel of truth. He's alive. You can confirm this from him. And we seal the deal, and he comes around and play the guitar, and my mom was like, wow, Goshid, you sing well. Are you just going like that? Sit down, let them give you food. And I told him, I told you, if you sing well and you play well, my mom will give you a plate of food. And I was serving personally. There's a way we cut food. Those who don't understand what I'm talking about. When we cut food for you, sometimes we can build upstairs. When you press it, it will go down. But when I'm serving Goshid, I make sure I cut it big, press it. I won't build upstairs. It will look small, but heavy. you know, and he will eat the akpu or gari or what have you excitedly, and then we parted. And as times goes on, I fell in love with him as a person, and then 1993, my dad passed away. I remember my dad used to take me to church for choir practice, and after the suspension and everything, he still came back to his status as a choir master in CFN Church. I do follow him for choir rehearsals. That is where my musical inspiration began to develop. Why am I giving you all these details? I'm giving you details because I need you to know where I'm coming from, where I am today, and what I'm trying to point out to us. Some of us are yet to be born in these days I've just mentioned. So you don't think I'm talking trash. This name I've mentioned, they are still alive today to testify to what I'm saying, and some revelation I'm going to be sharing with you in different episodes to come. And as life we have it, he falls sick, and we took him to the village. The night he was to give up the spirit, he asked me to sing for him. And I couldn't remember any song that he would love me to sing, rather than the songs he used to coordinate the choir to sing. Because in CFN Church, we used to have this yearly competition that they usually host in Kogi State, and Yingba precisely. So all the choirs from Benue and Kogi State come together in that particular program, and then the best choir will be announced as the number one. And Otukpo choir happened to be one of the best choir in that competition. One of the songs I still remember with a tonic sofa in music. There's something called tonic sofa. We sing the song in a sofa notation. So do re mi fa mi re do. So re mi fa mi re do, mi fa fa mi fa la so fa mi ra. That kind of a thing. They will sing that tonic sofa, then come with the readings, the main reading, the wordings of the song. And then I was singing the song for him, trying to please him, and he told me the song I was singing was not as sweet as the one he was hearing. Wow. I never knew that was going to be the last time I would sing for him. And after saying the song you are singing is not as beautiful as the song I'm hearing, he just turned his face, and that was all. And that was all. She slept and never woke. Now, 1995, I left my village and went back to Otukpo. Then after a while, I had to come back to my village to register my SSC, and I wrote my SSC at Government Secondary School of Bagaji in Agatu local government. And after my SSC, I left for Kano. Now, I was in Kano 1996, and at Ekwa English section, and then I rededicated my life, gave my life back to Christ, because the youthful exuberance began to exercise itself in me. Started keeping friends, trying to have girlfriend and all that. But as God will have it, I joined the band in Ekwa English session. I still have friends in Ekwa English session who are still alive under the leadership of Pastor Bassi, and I have friends like Ufom, um, Gideon. Oh my God, I don't know where they are in the world right now. I used to be in the band in Ekwa English session. I am one of the guy who sings alto among all the guys. We have ladies who sings alto, and each time we sings in the band, they struggle to match up with my alto, not knowing that I had a childhood training in the choir where I decided to sing alto part. And this is how my musical career started. And in that Ekwa English session, I began to understood that serving God is the ultimate. We were burning for Christ until I secured admission in 2000 and in 1996 stroke 1997 into Bayero University. When I got to the university to study sociology, because of my musical influence, this time I sing in my room. My roommate were like, "Wow, you sing well. We can take you for a birthday party, and you sing and all that." And one of the songs that really freaked me, that pushed me into secular music that time was because of R. Kelly, Robert Kelly, and my heart goes for him wherever he is today. And Joe, I usually mime their songs, and people love the way I sing. And I can tell you that R. Kelly and Joe has really influenced my pattern of music. And then many years later, I started listening to Lucky Dube, which has also inspired my reggae kind of songs. Now, after my school, I was to travel to Gambia, from Gambia to Germany. That was my calculation. I got my first international passport in 1999. And then I came to Abuja to travel out, to just hustle and then get my money for tickets to travel out. And I met with my auntie. She's still alive, Hannah Oche Epo. And each time on Sunday morning, I go to play football because I used to be a very good footballer. And that fateful day, she told me, if you don't follow me to the church, you will come back and you won't have anywhere to bath nor change your clothes until I come back from church. And she's a worker in the church. So I had no option than to follow her to the church. And on Sunday morning, 1999, I was with her. We went to church at Dunamis, Area 1. Dunamis started in 1996. 1999, I was there. I met people like Pastor Godwin Abba, Pastor King Omodu, Pastor Majebo, Pastor Obeya, and Pastor Fidelis Alika, Pastor Sabu Yaro, and Pastor what will I call him again? Ayo Adun, who is late now. These were the few pastors I met, and Pastor Hope, can't forget that. And the choir were actually ministering, and I fell in love with the way they sang. Not really what Dr. Paul preached. No, 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 no. It was how Sister Tosin, anyone in Dunamis Church that time can testify, how Sister Tosin sang. And the song was I Almost Gave Up. And she was not properly dressed. She was wearing a trouser and a white canvas. And you got to see the way she was rattling with the song. I almost gave up. I was right at the verge of my breakthrough, but couldn't see. The devil tried to hurt me, but Jesus came and grabbed me. He had me close, so I wouldn't let go. God mercy kept me, so I wouldn't let go. I am here today because God kept me. I'm alive today because, when she was singing, I was like, wow, who is this lady? And after the service, this usual conduct of Pentecostal religious activities. First comers come out. If today is your first time in church, the pastor needs to have a handshake with you and have a gift for you. And I came out, had a handshake with Dr. Paul, and we were directed to sit in one corner of the church. After a few minutes, counselors came, spoke to us. My late friend, pastor or evangelist, Afam, who is late today, spoke to me, took my contact, and followed me up, and we became best of friends. He was my best man on my wedding day, who later committed atrocity, died in the prison. Great guy, great guy. And after all the information given to us, they served us Zobo. Of course, it was a nice Zobo. The next Sunday service, I didn't need any invitation from my auntie Anna to go to church. I already fell in love with the way Sister Tosin sang in the choir. I just want to be in the choir, and I love that Zobo they served me. So when they announced newcomer the second Sunday, I still appeared as newcomer just to have a taste of that Zobo. And I can go on and on. And after that service, I went in for membership class. I was taught by Deacon, what's his name again? There's this popular Deacon in Dunamis that time, and Ayo Adun, they took us in the foundation class. I'm trying to remember the Deacon's name. Very popular Deacon, very committed, hard-working Deacon. Wow. I don't know. Maybe in my next episode I might mention his name. And we became members of the church with the certificates, 1999 through 2000. And then 2000 January, I joined the choir under the leadership of Pastor Hope. Trying to tell you the story of my life, where I'm coming from, where I am today, what I understood, and what I believe now. And in one of the faithful service, it was an annual convention. Pastor Hope was suspended. Reasons I don't want to mention. And the choir was left stranded, nobody to lead praise and worship. And Dr. Paul asked, can anybody lead us in praise and worship? Because Pastor Hope could play from the keyboard and sing excellently. And I raised up my hand because I have been burning to have the privilege to sing. I won't forget this. When I joined the choir, I was placed on probation. The probation means you'll be coming for choir rehearsals, but you will not have the privilege to minister on Sunday morning until you are confirmed and qualified to minister. Under the leadership of ESCOs, formed of few people, I can't forget the name, Sister Franca, Sister Chinyere, Pastor Hope himself, like that. Few names that form the ESCO of the choir. And that day, from the choir, I raised up my hand. I was going to lead praise and worship. And I was given the microphone. And to the surprise of everyone, I led the praise and worship so perfectly. And then, after Pastor Hope was suspended, we were thinking it was a minor case, and he never came back until Casmere King came in. as a music director. And Casmir King have this white man tonations when he's speaking English. If you don't take time, you won't be able to get what he's talking about. And Casmir King was very good, but his pattern of music was not Dunamis kind of music, you know. And I was elected, haven't gone through the maturity class, yet on probation in the choir. I have not been satisfied as a member of the choir. And Dr. Paul called me and said, I want you to assist Casmir King as assistant music director. Learn from him with all your mind. Catch anything this guy has. And I started serving Casmir King as my choir director. Still under probation. And in the process of time, the people who were my ESCO, who were to confirm me as a member, in less than few weeks, I became their music director. Oh my God. I became their music director and I was heading the choir, singing with all kinds of novice and lack of understanding. And Dr. Paul told me, I needed to go learn music theoretically. I'm sending you to Panam College of Music Ministry. So you go there and study music, brush yourself up and become a professional musician. Before that time, anytime Dr. Paul lay hands on people and people come to kneel down before him, I don't give him my head to lay hands on. I give him my throat. He's a living witness. Each time he lay hands on people, I give him my throat. When he tried to put his hand on my head, I will remove his hand and put on my throat. I said, my voice must be heard. I am a voice. This is Prince of Agatuland. My dad has been a choir master. I will exceed my dad. And to the greatest surprise of my entire generation, my client, my lineage, the first musician, when we talk about music, in the entire Agatuland, I'm the first famous gospel musician. In the entire Agatuland, I'm the first Pentecostal pastor. We have had other Orthodox pastors, but I'm the first Pentecostal pastor in the entire Agatuland. And I have brought in many who are still pastoring in Dunamis today. In my next episode, I'm going to tell you why I left Dunamis 2004, my first exit. And I will tell you pastors that came to Dunamis through me. And then subsequently, I'm going to be telling you my understanding about the true gospel of Jesus. I believe I've blessed you. This is episode 1. My next episode, I'm going to tell you my name and why people call me Prince Piccolo. Don't forget, I remain your brother. I'm the teacher of the gospel, Apostle Prince Piccolo. I'm a teacher.